Okay, so this is my brother Dustin. Tell us a little bit about you, Dustin.
What do you want to know?
Well, this video is going to be for, you know, like people trying to realize what's going on. So can you tell me a little bit about your...
Well, check this out. The purpose of this video has a lot to do with the mental health industry and my hell going through it. So, first off, I was put on some pretty heavy medications at a really early age, and I'm not talking like 10 or 13, I'm actually talking more like 4 or 5. And a lot of these medications were shit like Ritalin, Adderall, Concerta, Depakote, Seroquel. Hold on a second, I'm gonna keep going here. There's like 20 of them. Abilify, Risperidone, Trazodone. You got a whole list of them that I could basically say that I've taken every single one of them in the past 15 years. All of which have made me a lot sicker than they say that I already am. And over the past 3 weeks, I've realized that the only reason why I was so-called mentally ill was because I was taking these medications. Shit like Ritalin, you're giving your kids low-grade meth. And I've seen people on meth. It's not a pretty experience. They start talking to themselves, you know. Sometimes they start talking back almost as if there's somebody talking to them, but they can't get a word in.
So tell me about how these made you feel.
Okay. Mood stabilizers make you moody as shit, aggressive and psychotic. Antipsychotics make you psychotic and make you afraid. They make you afraid to look in the mirror. Antidepressants make you depressed and make you want to kill just about everybody you live with. There's a stimulant. Well, if you don't have the so-called ADHD thing, which I just think is the next step in evolution, if you are not who they're targeting with these medications, you act like you're on meth. If you are, you just don't feel like you're yourself, and eventually you just dissociate to the point where you're not who you are anymore and you can't sleep, and that just makes it 10 times worse. I know people who have experienced this. I'm not the only one.
So what types of things have you been diagnosed with?
Oh man, it's crazy. Okay, you get PDD, OCD, ODD.
Can you give us like definitions?
Pervasive developmental disorder, obsessive compulsive tendencies, oppositional defiant disorder, explosive anger, something like that. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, bipolar, mild schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. Which I guess I could have had I continued taking those medications. It got to the point where I was diagnosed with so much shit, I was convinced firmly that yes, I was mentally ill. If I'm not this, I must be this. If I'm not that, I must be one of those things, because I have all of these professional people telling me that I am sick. So eventually it gets to the point where you're like, they can't all be lying. But it turns out that they are. Every last one of them is only trained the same way that all the others are trained.
So we have a few minutes. Can you tell me about what you've been through in the last year? Like a short story about, you know, maybe your last 6 months and kind of bringing you to where you are now.
Okay, to make a long story short, I got on the road. I started traveling. I have seen like 8 major American cities. It got to the point where I was so stressed out from this transient lifestyle that I came home, and with the nagging of my mother, with the, let's be honest, man, she's crazy. She's crazier than they think. Anyway.
You love your mom.
Yeah, we love our mother. Anyway, I thought I was nuts because I was stressed out, so I checked myself into in psych ward. And I got myself
for the
sick
what time? What time?
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that?
9th time. I counted. Every time I was in there, I counted. It's like the 9th time I checked in there. A lot of help it did. I saw some sick people in there. By sick, I just mean overdrugged. People who stare at the wall. People who, you know, they're like the stomach.
Why did you leave?
Leave?
The psych ward.
Because the doctors basically said, you either take these drugs. Well, let me put it to you like this. I walk into the doctor's office, I say, listen, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take these drugs because I know what they do. Well, I say, well, you can choose to cooperate or you can just go. And it got to the point, using their mind games that they play, I actually thought, you know what? Maybe I should stay. I'm making the wrong decision by leaving. But I said, no, dude, I'm just leaving. I'm leaving. I'm done. And it got to the point where even my mother realized there's something up, because these doctors, they don't allow patients to participate. All they do is tell them how it's going to be, how we're gonna do it. And if you don't like it, well, you can just stop taking the medication and see how hard you come down from a month-long Xanny trip. Xanax, like benzos. Withdrawing is no game, it can kill you. And they didn't care if I...
So they basically told you that you could either take the pills or leave.
Yes, and
you left.
I left, and I straight up... They cut me off of every medication, and when I got here, I was coming down hard, and I started thinking to myself, these people could have killed me, or if not, they could have led me into such a state of loss of touch from reality that I would have wanted to kill myself. But they didn't care about that. If I'm not going to play their game, if I'm not going to take the medication they want me to take, then what is my life worth to them?
What were the first couple days like after you stopped taking them?
I was shaking all day, and when I wasn't shaking, like literally shaking, like my legs, I couldn't stop, like I couldn't. It was some severe panic attack type symptom type things. And it got to the point where I used to think, man, maybe I should just do myself in, you know, maybe I should just, I mean, fuck, nothing means anything at this point, maybe I really am sick, maybe if I just start taking these medications again, I'll be alright, but it turned out that a week later,
after it was all out of your system, because we gave you, we made you a body cleanser.
Yeah, and after a week, after 2 weeks, I started feeling so clear, it was, well, not so clear, I still have a lot of problems, but those are just my problems. It turned out that the medications they were giving me for anxiety were causing such severe anxiety that I couldn't stop shaking, couldn't stop panicking, you know? It was almost like...
Give 30 seconds.
Read the label. You know what I mean? Peace, folks. Do your research and stop taking sodium fluoride, which is rat poison. That's Prozac.
How do you feel now?
I feel better. A lot better. You know? Like, I thought you said we had 30 seconds. Go.
20 seconds left. I lied.
I feel like a human being, like I have a soul, which is more than I can say psychiatrists think you have. Psychology is based on the principle that man has no soul, he is simply behavioral, he's reactatory, he's reptilian. You know what I mean? And that's a wrap.